Thank you, Jyoti, for inviting us here.
Jai, Jyoti.
Thank you for
Such a
coming.
beautiful ashram yogashala here.
Yeah.
Shanti Revolution. This is what we need in the world. Shanti Revolution. Jyoti's holding it down on the East Coast. Jyoti. Give a big hand to Jyoti. Bringing forward the Aquarian age. The Shanti Revolution. Om Shanti 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 Om. What is Shanti? I was thinking I'll speak shortly about spending time with the divine. Spending time with the divine. We were talking a little bit about this last night. We just touched on it. In our Bhakti practice, we try to spend as much time as possible with the divine. The divine manifests in many forms, many features. We approach it through the most personal feature, the most intimate, loving feature, Sri Krishna. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, you may approach me through worshipping the universal spirit or energy. That is also my emanation. Aham sarvasva prabhavo. Everything is emanating from that supreme transcendental entity. So you may approach me through that impersonal expanse of energy, the spirit. But it's very difficult because the human mind or the soul is seeking relationship. We're seeking relationship. And a relationship implies personality. We need an object for our devotion. Something we can offer our hearts to. So Krishna says in the Gita that if you offer your hearts and mind to me, I am that supreme source of everything. So you can worship me as the supreme, you can see the sun and the light and think that is an expansion of the Lord, that is God in one. You can worship Surya, the sun god, that force, that power. But we worship Krishna because he is the most attractive, the most sweet, the most beautiful. Adaram Maduram. Everything about him is full of sweetness. Krishna means the most attractive. So that's why he's playing the flute in the dance of divine love. So the way we practice our bhakti is we're trying to spend time with that divine. Jyoti was also mentioning it in the beginning. We want to spend time with those we love. It's very important. I gave this example last night that for a small baby, a child, it's not only thinking about its mother, how much the mother is working hard to feed it, to provide, pay for the rent or pay the mortgage. The baby's thinking, how much time is my mother spending with me? That's how it understands love. For a baby, love is how much love and time and energy you spend with them. So it's not just about the work, about the action, about the activities we do outside in the world. It's about that time we spend internally focusing on that supreme transcendent, that absolute reality. So when we are doing our Kirtan chant, it's the easiest way to connect to that. The easiest way. Because that transcendent reality on the spiritual realm, the name has the power of the entity itself. Because it's a spiritual thing. Spiritual matters, the mantra. When you utter the mantra purely, it's non-different from the deity of the mantra. That's the special magic masala, you could say, the special magic recipe to enter into grace. You chant this mantra when we are chanting these mantras like Hare Krishna. When we chant it with a pure heart, pure intention, that name is the same as the entity. It's the same as the personality Krishna. And it's even more powerful because he is present with us through the name. Whereas he is in his own realm, in his own realm he is performing his pastimes. But by chanting his names, he is with us now. That's why it's so powerful. We have a chance that's called spending time with the divine. Doing Kirtan, it's a chance for us to live in grace. And when we do this practice of kirtan every day, even a little bit in the morning, 5 minutes, we do japa meditation also, japa chanting. It sets the mind on the track of being in communion with that. So every day, every morning, we when we wake up as monks, we chant, we do meditations, we do chant these mantras, and we refocus our attention that our life is meant to be a life of service to that divine spirit. And so then whatever we do in our days, in our work, in our life, in our service, with our families, when we do this meditation, even you look at like transcendental meditation, 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the afternoon, it refocuses us, brings the mind back into alignment in grace with the divine spirit. So that's why it's so important to do kirtan. Kirtan's the easiest method. That yoga is helping us raise our consciousness. And that's why it's so special. You're doing a yoga with a kirtan. It's the perfect khichdi. It's the perfect mix. Khichdi is something that balances life. Doshas, the 3 doshas. When you take khichdi, it's the perfect balance. So yoga practice with kirtan, it's the perfect way to make your body healthy and your spirit healthy together. It's a perfect way. There are different levels of consciousness. We can see this very easily because you can see people who are in different conscious frequencies, trapped by different ideologies. They're possessing them. Their consciousness is trapped in that. So what we understand by Vedanta teaches us that consciousness is present on different levels. And that's why we say consciousness is present even in animals. If you have an animal or you experience, you can see they have consciousness. They have awareness. They have feelings. They can experience pain. They can experience joy. Just search on YouTube, happy animals. Animals have feelings. They have consciousness. They can feel pain. But their consciousness is still stunted in its range, right? They're not able to have an intellectual conversation with you. They can feel things. They can feel these things, but we're trying to raise our consciousness. So it's said that even trees and plants, there's different studies by scientists seeing how trees react, even water. Jody puts thank you underwater. Because even water absorbs your emotion, your mood, your intention. So consciousness pervades everything. That's what we call the Atman. In Vedanta, Annamaya Brahma means even within the material bodies, spirit is present. Matter, food, that has the spirit within it. So that's why we honor our food and we offer our food. Because it's coming from that Supreme Spirit, therefore we offer it to the Supreme Spirit and then take it, and then that becomes full of grace. So spending time with the Divine, you don't have to change your life. You just have to align it. And you do a little bit of practice in the morning, in the evening, 5 minutes even. It brings you back in alignment with grace. You can eat food. You can go to Burger King and eat a burger, and you're eating food. Or you're eating khichdi, you're eating food. But are you eating that as an offering and living in grace? It's not that that thing has spirit within it, but are you in the same? Are you aligning your frequency with it? Are you coming into a dance with it? Are you in harmony with it? Like you can play discordant notes, and the music doesn't sound so good. But what we're trying to do is become in harmony with that divine spirit. So we offer our food and we pray for it and we receive its blessing. When we offer it, then we receive it as a blessing, and then it nourishes both our body, our mind, and our soul. So kirtan is the same way. Kirtan, the vibration of these mantras, is so powerful that it begins to change all of our rhythms, our psychology, our mind frequencies, everything. Again, with water has memory. You can see it like that. You play a certain kind of, like really negative, heavy energy music to it, and then you freeze it and you take, microscopic images of it. You can see how the water reacts. So these things have power upon the physical. The spiritual, the intention, the mantras you chant, they impact the physical. So that's why when we do yoga, it's actually breaking the locks. Our body gets, locked down. We're doing yoga to stretch it out and to kind of break free of these, constriction. He was talking about it last night. We're becoming tight, bound by the material, and we want to break free. So yoga is helping us break free and achieve ultimately samadhi. Samadhi means divine trance. Now the easiest way to enter samadhi is kirtan. That's why it's so important that we chant these mantras with a prayer for grace, because by chanting these mantras, it helps raise our consciousness. And it said that even in human life, there's different levels of consciousness, and that's easy to see. But by doing this practice, like you can say, before you practiced yoga, after you practice yoga, you feel much better. It makes you feel better, but it also can raise your consciousness. Breathing techniques, pranayama, can raise your awareness and also make you feel like a state of grace and oneness with all beings, in the sense that you can feel the spiritual essence within others by doing these yoga practices, by doing pranayama. It's raising your consciousness. Before you're thinking, I am separate from others. They are alien to me. They are friends or they are enemies. But you practice pranayama, you practice yoga, you practice mantra meditation, you see the spiritual essence within each and every individual. And then you can see also the supreme entity as well. So kirtan is such a powerful practice to awaken the consciousness. We talk about kundalini, raising our energy through different levels of chakras. So we need to do that with our consciousness as well. We by yoga practice, we can raise our, the kundalini energy, but we can also raise our consciousness. And the easiest way, the easiest, simplest method is through kirtan yoga. Kirtan, that's why we're doing kirtan today. We chant it, and we can use whatever, different cultures use different instruments, whatever helps you become absorbed in it. It's like like for medicine, you can use honey to carry the medicine, you can use sugar to carry the medicine, you can use alcohol to carry the medicine. So the instrumentation is a vehicle to absorb the mind in the mantra. So we're playing the harmonium, we're playing the drum, the guitar. It's all ornamentation to help the mind become focused in on the mantra. Said purely chanting the mantra, you can meditate on your breath, but you can just meditate when you chant Om. Just visualize. You can even, like we do, we close our eyes and you meditate on the third eye. Or Krishna says in the Gita, you can have your eyes almost closed and you can look at the tip of your nose even. And it can get you into that meditative state. And so by doing this, gradually, we are raised up from the lower, like carnal, physical, material energies to the higher chakras of enlightenment. We want that enlightenment, but true enlightenment means to be living in grace. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Maeva mana datsva mai buddhing niveshya nivashisyasi maeva atha urdvam nasangsaya. He gives a promise in the Gita. He says, I will lift you up. Urdvam means to be lifted up. So he gives the method to be uplifted from bondage to matter. He says, absorb the mind in me. Mantra. He's very merciful that he appears in a human-like form so that by his sweet pastimes, by his names, we can become attracted to him. And then he says, Ata urdvang nasangsaya, I promise to liberate you, to give you the divine life. You can be Jivan Mukta. Jivan Mukti, right? It means to be living liberated. Even in this body, we are on the liberated platform. That's possible. To be living in grace by spending time with the divine, doing a little bit of kirtan. When you do your yoga practice, you can play a kirtan, you can say the chants, say the mantras. That mantra is Yo mantra sa guru shakshat. The mantra is the guru. Yo guru sa Hari Swayam. And that guru is Hari. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara. Right? Guru Shakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Yo mantra so Hari. Yo mantra so Guru. So the mantra is our guide. And when our Gurudev would say, when you're driving, you can chant the mantra, you can chant Om. And you're driving, they say that there's a beautiful thing Krishna says in the Gita. Yang vapi smaram bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam evaiti kunte asratat bhava bhavita. Wherever you focus your attention, your consciousness, your awareness, your physical reality will enter into that state gradually. If you're always focusing on negative things, or if you're always like, Nietzsche says, if you're always staring into the abyss is looking back into you. If you're always thinking of defeating the dark forces and you're always absorbed in that, it can draw you in. They say in Star Wars, right? Right? If you let the hate fill you and you're just full of rage, very careful, because you can fall into that trap. It's very difficult to stay within grace, within light, while fighting darkness. You can, but you have to always spend time with that inner light. So that's why our Kirtan practice is about, Krishna says in the Gita, absorb your mind. Learn how to absorb your mind in what is truly beneficial, what gives you true spiritual welfare. Because we are born in darkness, ajnana. We do not know where we are, what we are doing, who we are. But we can, by chanting these mantras, by finding a genuine guide, then they can help lead us to enlightenment. And that enlightenment is relationship with that divine source. We're seeking that spiritual relationship. And so Krishna says the easiest thing is absorb your mind in me. Then he says when you pass out of this body, when you pass into the next state of being, you will come to me. Atha urdhvam, the Sanghas say, have no doubt. You will be in that spiritual realm. That realm of divine bliss. Satchidananda means eternal existence, eternal awareness, eternal bliss. Eternal consciousness, eternal bliss. So we're trying to leave the state of samsara where we are always trapped in the duality of good and evil, friend and foe, heat and cold, winter and summer, happiness, distress, to the state of eternal bliss. And to do that, you can be like a lotus leaf. Krishna says in the Gita, be like a lotus leaf. Your stem is in the mud, your material bodies. But if you're like the lotus leaf, you're aloof, you're above it, you're transcendental to it. You're in the state of grace, even though you're in this world. You're walking on it. It's like they say the saints, they don't walk on the earth, the angels. They're always aloof from it. They're always just above it. They're helping everyone, serving everyone, but always internally in that state of union or yoga. So it's living that life state of grace by doing kirtan or japa or meditation a little bit in the morning, in the evening. It realigns us before we go to sleep. We don't know if we're going to wake up again. So Krishna says, whatever you meditate upon at the time of death, you achieve that state. The consciousness transfers. Because if you look at thermodynamics, the conservation of energy is eternal. It just transfers to different states. You cannot destroy it. Same thing with consciousness. It's eternal. It cannot be destroyed. The soul is eternal. It's the first teaching of the Vedantic literature. Nainang chindanti sastrani, nainang dahati pavaka, na chainang kliriyantyapo, na shosyati maruta. The soul is eternal. It is pure. It cannot be destroyed. No one can murder the soul. It's impossible. The first teaching of Bhagavad Gita. And yet, why are we moving into these different states of consciousness? One life, an animal, one life, man, a woman, a king, a pauper, because our consciousness becomes absorbed in these things. So we want to lift our consciousness to a higher state of reality. And we can do that by mantra meditation. We can do that every day, just a few minutes. I am spirit. I am not this body. This body is my vehicle. This body is a temple that I should clean, dress nicely. I do yoga because this body is a temple. It's a vehicle for the Lord's service. And therefore I take care of the body. Because if you don't do yoga, you don't do exercise, you become sickly, weak, disturbed, and then the mind follows the body in a way. It's like you're in a broken down car. You may want to drive somewhere fast, but you can't. Your car's broken. So the body's the vehicle. We want to take care of it nicely. Give it the good fuel. Whether you're vegan or healthy, organic food, give it good fuel. Take care of it. It's a temple. But if you're doing it understanding I am spirit, we're all spirit, then you serve the body, honoring it, knowing that this is a gift from the Lord. And then when we pass out of this state of being into the next, if we are focused on that divine essence, that divine spirit, then we will attain a transcendental state upon giving up this mortal frame. So this is our practice of Kirtan, of Bhakti Yoga. We want to be living in eternal grace. And that's possible. He says, absorb your mind in me. Offer your heart to me. Be my devotee. It's the easiest, simplest method. Otherwise, you want to worship something that's just like, okay, we can just say energy, but where is the relationship? It's just, you're talking about energy. If we didn't have Shiva, Shiva Parvati, it's literally the creative potency of everything. Everything is coming from Shiva Parvati. But Shiva and Parvati manifest in this form so that we can build relation with them. So we can see their image and absorb the mind in them. Otherwise, we're just meditating on the sky. It's beautiful. It's also good. The Lord says that I am the universal form. The sun is my eye. The sun and moon are my two eyes. The trees are the hairs in my body. The mountain is my spine. The mountain ranges are my spines. This is all the form of the Lord. But if we focus on the personal form, it's the most sweet. It's the most full of rasa, full of nectar, full of bliss. And then we can live in that reality, because in this world, we also seek relationship. Someone may practice so much yoga and talk about, I'm just worshiping the energy, but they still are looking for a relationship in this world. Mother, father, daughter, son, partner, beloved, we need relationship. So we can also have a relationship with the spiritual entity, the supreme entity, and that's the relationship we're seeking. And that relationship, it doesn't cut off other relationships. It makes them magical, because you realize that, why am I serving my husband, my wife, my child? Why am I honoring them? Because the spiritual essence also lives within them. Therefore, I also honor them. Then you will get rid of all the conflict, because then you'll be in harmony. Then your life will be a musical symphony in harmony with grace. It's possible. We want to live our life in that state of grace. And we do that through our kirtan, through our yoga, through all these practices. It's very simple, and yet it's very powerful. It doesn't take such effort. You can play music in your car. You can play like death metal, talking about, not that that's bad. I'm just saying, like, where do you want your consciousness to be? You can play something that makes you feel destructive, or you can play something that makes you feel uplifted. So we want to gradually be in that state of grace. So thank you so much.
Thank you.